And turning now to our top story, Minnesota wildfires and the drought. Joining us is District Ranger Ellen Bogardas-Shamaniak of the Superior National Forest Service Tofte Ranger District. She has experience fighting fire herself and is an expert in this field. And thanks for joining us, Ellen.
Well, thanks for having me.
We appreciate you coming in on what must be a very busy time for you. What is the current wildfire situation like across Minnesota as a whole, and specifically in your Tofte district?
Well, we're very dry, as you well know, across Minnesota. There's been more moisture up in the northwest portion where they were having peat fires earlier this month. Mainly right now is we were watching the Canadian fires on the border in the boundary waters by Crooked Lake. We're watching those grow together and get very large. Currently, they have not crossed into the United States, but they are literally yards away. Right now they are moving north and they produce a lot of smoke, so that's what we're getting, a lot of smoke.
Ellen,
there.
when it comes to the Greenwood Fire, what's the progress of that? Has it expanded much more today, and are there more evacuations being made?
There are no more evacuations being made. What's current is evacuation folks, they're still evacuated. They haven't added any more. It did not move yesterday and today. We have cloud cover. We have no rain up there.
Winds have died down, maybe?
The winds are still going, and the winds are from the east, which they haven't been for the entire fire. So the western edge has been worked on, and that's where the fire's heading. So they have heavy equipment on the western end.
I see.
So it's probably in a fairly good place today. We'll just have to see how the winds go and hope we get some moisture.
Would you still call that a major fire?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. There are over 200 people, firefighters on it. We have a lot of evacuees. We've lost some structures. We have other structures threatened. We have made a larger area closure on the forest to keep recreationists away from the edge of the fire. It is going to be with us for a long time, and it is a major fire at 26,000 acres.
Wow.
What's the process to determine when you start evacuating people and when it's safe for them to come back?
We evacuate people when the fire is approaching, but we can, when it first starts, that's more of the fire's growing big, we need you to get out. As the fire begins to grow bigger over a couple of days, then we can project where the fire is going, and we can project, do we need to have these people move, or can they stay where they are for now? So we like to evacuate people ahead of time to make sure that there is no panic. People have time to get out, to get their whatever possessions they can get to get out. So we look at fire behavior, we look at the weather, and we look at where people are and how hard it is for them to get away from their homes into, let's say, Highway 1.
Ellen, at what point is it determined when aircraft should be brought in to fight those fires?
Again, it's drought and fire behavior, and I would say every fire we've had since July is the first thing that goes out there is aircraft.
Really?
Yeah. We need to hit those fires fairly hard because of the drought. We are a little more than twice as dry, excuse me, as when the Pagami Creek fire came through. This drought is making historical records in the indices that we look at to determine fire behavior, and it's unprecedented right now.
Has the drought impacted how you fight the fire itself in terms of maybe limitations with water?
Yes.
Or,
They do. There's several things that happen. Typically, if we have a fire in the boundary waters and it's a lightning strike, it's 1 or 2 trees, we have people canoe in, and it may take them half a day to get there, and they don't take any chainsaws or pumps, and they put it out the old-fashioned way. And now we put water on it from aircraft. We sometimes, if we can, fly the firefighters in. We allow them, after doing an assessment, if it's efficient, we allow them to use chainsaws and pumps in the wilderness, which typically we don't. And it just has changed the whole idea of how we're going to be fighting fire for the rest of the summer.
So can a drought cause long-term effects to the forest?
Oh, yeah. Right now, just what you see now, think about the animals, the insects. We need insects so that we have birds there, right? The neotropical birds that nest in Canada and come through and live in Minnesota for a while and head south. They need insects to eat. Not very much water. The mosquito population was down. We have bears. Let's talk about bears. The berries. If there was a berry crop, the berries look like they're already freeze dried on the vine. It's just really dry. We have trees that are, leaves are wilting. Some of the birch that you can just walk out in the woods, you can touch their leaves and they just are crumbly on the trees. Trees are turning yellow now. It's just all the water table, if you know, it's a lot of rock up there. We're on the Canadian Shield, so very shallow soils. So the soils dry out really, really quickly. Then the plants dry out.
Mm-hmm. From a fire standpoint, do you worry about long-term impacts in terms of having more fuel in the fire from this, or more fuel in the forest from this year's dryness?
Yeah, the larger fuel that's on the ground will stay if we don't get a lot of moisture, and we are a deficit from anywhere from 10 to 16 inches of moisture that we haven't had from last August to this August. So we need to have a lot of moisture between now and when it freezes, because once the ground freezes and the wood freezes on the ground, it can't absorb any moisture until the spring. And if we don't get very much snow, there's not much to absorb in the spring. So it feeds on itself. And typically in northern Minnesota, if we have a drought summer, we tend to have another drought summer the next year. It tends to go in 2-year cycles.
We only have about 30 seconds, but any tips quickly for homeowners or folks who might be out there?
Go to firewise.org. That has so many tips and great information about how to protect your property and your home. We're asking people to just follow some of our closures and the fire ban. We really mean don't have any campfires, don't have...
Use common sense.
Yeah, use common sense, right.
All right, well, Ellen, thank you so much for coming in
You're
and visiting
welcome.
with us, and good luck as you battle the fires.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ellen, very much.